Hi and Assalamualaikum. My name is Nur Syafiqah binti Madaud, and this is my other group, which is Nur Sasabila Safia binti Muhammad, Nur Emir Firza binti Muhammad Amri, Muhammad Uwais bin Osman, Aris Iskandar bin Johari, and the last one is Megat Muhammad Alif Mirzad bin Rosli. Our title is Assessing the Aggression, Physical Aggression, Verbal aggression, anger, and hostility among FSR students. Our objective is to determine the level of aggression, physical aggression, verbal aggression, anger, and hostility among FSR students, and to compare the aggression, physical aggression, verbal aggression, anger, and hostility among FSR students between gender. Next, the hypothesis. HA1, there is significant between differences, level of aggression, physical aggression, verbal aggression, anger, and hostility among FSR students. HO1, there is not significant between differences, level of aggression, physical aggression, verbal aggression, anger, and hostility among FSR students. HA2, there is significant between differences of aggression, physical aggression, verbal aggression, anger, and hostility among FSR students between gender. HO2, there is not significant between differences of aggression, physical aggression, verbal aggression, anger, and hostility among FSR students between gender.
So now we are moving on to data management. So how we import into SPSS from Excel. First, open your SPSS and then go to File, search for Import Data and then choose the Excel file. Second, we'll be checking all of our data in case there is a missing data. We need to make sure that all of the values are present in the data set. Third, verify data types, for example like numeric. We need to match the data set to the requirements. Fourth, we adjust our variable measure. For example, we change nominal ordinal scales to suit each variable that we have used. And fifth or lastly, record values variable. For example, for the gender, we put male as 1 and female as 2, while for the faculty, one is FSR and second is for other faculty. And for the program, we put one for SR111, second for SR113, third for SR241, fourth for SR243, and fifth for SR245. While for semester, we put 1 until 7 and it follows for the semester from 1 until 7.
Now, I will present to you about the test of normality for this study. For physical aggression, anger, and hostility is normally distributed. Meanwhile, for verbal aggression, not normally distributed because the p-value is smaller than alpha, which is 0.003.
After we import all the data from Excel into SPSS, the first thing we need to do before we run our variable is to do the normality test. So, the way we do is to go to Explore, search for Analyze, Descriptive Statistic, and then go to Explore. Secondly, we'll be select all the variables that we'll be using. For us, we use in the dependent list, we use physical aggression subscale, verbal aggression subscale, anger subscale, and hostility subscale. For the factor list, we put gender since we want to compare it into gender. Third, set normality plots, and lastly, execute the test. For the manual scoring to general variable, for the physical aggression subscale, the question is from first question until the 9th question, while for verbal aggression would be question number 10 until question number 14. Anger subscale will be question number 15 until question number 21. And lastly, for the hostility will be question number 22 until question number 29.
Now, let's move on descriptive statistics, which is focused on demographic data. In SPSS, click Analyze and click Descriptive Statistic. After that, click Frequency and insert variables such as age. After that, click OK and look for the outputs. Run the same step for the other demographic variables such as gender, program, course code, and semester.
Now I will explain the inferential statistic conducted for each objective of this study. For objective 1, which aims to determine the level of physical aggression, verbal aggression, anger, and hostility among FSR students, we use descriptive statistic. This provides a summary of the data, including the mean and standard deviation, to identify the general trends and level of aggression. For objective 2, which compares aggressions level between male and female FSR student, we applied two tests. First one is independently test to compare the mean aggression scores between genders. Second one is Mann-Whitney test as a non-parametric alternative when the data didn't meet normality or equal variance assumptions. This analysis ensures accurate and meaningful interpretation of the aggressions level and gender differences. Now let's move on to the descriptive statistics section. Firstly, this step is essential to summarize and understand the key characteristics of our data. Next, go to the menu, then click Analyze, pick Descriptive Statistic and Descriptive. After that, select your variables. Move the variables you want to analyze, like physical aggression subscale, verbal aggression subscale, anger subscale, and hostility subscale, into the variable box. Additionally, if you want to include extra statistics like mean, standard, deviation, minimum, and maximum, click Options. Once you are ready, click Continue to confirm. Now, run the analysis. Click OK and SPSS will generate the descriptive statistic for your variables. Finally, review the results. Look at the output table to interpret values like mean, which is average, standard deviation, which is variability, and range, which mean minimum and maximum scores.
Now, let's dive into the step of performing independent sample tests using SPSS. This statistical test helps us to compare the mean of two independent groups, in this case, male and female FSR students. First, we select the Analyze menu by navigating the Analyze option on the menu bar. From the drop-down menu, select Compare Mean, then click on the option for independent test. Drag the variable, which in this case we use aggression, anger, and hostility, into the test of variable box. Next, assign the group variable, in the case gender, to the grouping variable box. Define the group as 1 for male and 2 for female. Then click OK to run analysis and generate the output. Now let's move to the output of the independent sympathy test. For the independent sympathy analysis for aggression variable between gender male and female, it includes the type of aggression variable gender, number of sample, standard deviation, t-value, and degree of freedom, and the p-value. For physical aggression, male participants have a number of 26.63333, but the standard deviation is 5.32712, reported significantly higher level of physical aggression than female, which has 24.2667, and the standard deviation is 5.09180, but the t-value is 58, equally to 1.759, and the p-value is higher than 0.05. While for the anger, male have a 20.5
2.5333 and the standard deviation is 2.86158. Exhibitly higher anger level than female, which has 19.9333 and the standard deviation is 3.47338 and the t-value is 58, equaling to 0.3730 and the p-value is higher is 0.005. But the difference was not statistically significant. However, for the hostility, male has 26.3000 and the standard deviation is 3.23931, reported significantly higher hostility level than female, which has 24.3333 and the standard deviation is 2.61736 and the t-value is 58, equaling to 2.587 and the p-value is higher than alpha. Now we focus on the man-Whitney test. The reason why we choose this test in the verbal aggression subscale is because the female, the Shapiro weight signification value was 0.03, which below the 0.05 alpha. This indicates the data for this group is significantly deviate from the normality. So the way to do this test is first, click on the Analyze button, select Non-Parametric Test, select the Legacy dialog and select the two independent samples. Then move your test variable to the test list of variables. Move your grouping variable gender to the grouping variable. Define the group and enter the code. For example, 1 is for male, 2 is for female. Then click continue. Choose the test type that you want, which in this case is man-Whitney test. Then run the test and see the output of the result. As we can see in the man-Whitney test, for the verbal aggression subscale, the mean for the male is higher than the female, where the mean is 32.58 while the female is 28.42. And the sum rank is also higher than the female, as the male got 977.50 while the female is 852.50.
For the conclusion, this study aimed to examine the aggression behavior in sports among Faculty of Sport and Recreation FSR students at UiTM Perlis using the Bus-Perry Aggression Questionnaire BPAQ. The finding revealed significant variation in aggression levels among the students influenced by factors such as gender. The analysis highlights the physical aggression, verbal aggression, anger, and hostility were present to varying degrees, with certain subscales being more prominent depending on the sports and context of participations. This result aligns with existing literature which emphasizes the impact of competitive environments and personality traits on aggressive behavior in sports. This study underscores the importance of addressing aggressions in sport to promote a positive and safe environment for student athletes. Coach, educators, and sport administrators should implement strategies such as emotional regulation training, conflict management, and fostering sportsmanship to mitigate unhealthy aggression. Further research could further explore the relationship between aggression and factors like culture background, stress level, and coping mechanism to develop a more comprehensive understanding of this behavior in the context of sports. That's all from me. Thank you.